Hey everybody, this is Jace with Marshall Made Collectibles, and today we're going to be doing a review on a 1/6 scale collectible figure of Golgo 13. And this is by a company called Fewture, and it's in conjunction with another company called 3R. Um, Now, there's been a couple other Golgo 13 figures that have come out in the past. One has been by Hot Toys, which is a strict manga type figure. It looks like he just came right off the page. Very cartoonish type features on him, and like the real smooth hair, real smooth face. And there was another one that came out by a company a while back, and it was by a company called Skynet. And they actually released two different versions, and I believe their variation is one came in like a black suit, and one came in like a gray suit. The detail on that one, including like his famous attaché case or his briefcase that he carries his weapon, really was kind of sorely lacking. And the details just wasn't there. I know there are a few fans of it just because it's one of the older figures that came out, but even the tailoring of the suit it looks like something like a Hall of Fame type GI Joe for those collectors that remember those when those first came out. If you don't know a lot about Golgo 13, really the only thing I can tell you is he is a assassin for hire, and he will kill pretty much without impunity. As long as you pay him, he'll take on whatever case you want. And he's been around since like 1969, so he's been around a year longer than I have. And I came to know the character back in the early 80s when I had my first taste of Japanese manga, which is a Japanese version of a comic book. What I was enthralled with when I first saw any kind of Japanese comic books is I realized these were like really thick graphic novels. A lot of them weren't in color, but you read them backwards. Well, to us it's backwards, to them it's not. And I just remember the detail being in them. I remember a lot of DC comics and Marvel comics of that day where everything was based on the characters and the action and everything like that. But Japanese comics are manga, as it's called, is the detail and everything from the vehicles to the buildings, cityscapes, everything. It's so well drawn that you would end up looking at a comic or reading a story, and even though I could not read the language, I could still follow along, and I would go back and look at the stories over and over again, just seeing these little tiny minute details that you would miss. And it made me fall in love with like these different characters, and Golgo 13 was one of them. He was like a badass James Bond type guy, but he just never showed any kind of emotion, whether he was killing somebody, sleeping with some chick, or doing whatever. He was just the ultimate bad guy. Well, not really bad guy, but yeah, you get my meaning. Where James Bond was, for MI6 or whoever, but this guy just, whoever would pay him his price of $3 million, he would take on whoever. Stories were really good, and it just made me really, really like the figure. And then there was an anime series. There's also been, I believe, two live action movies. One actually starts Sonny Chiba, and there's been two full length animated movies. One was called The Professional, and I think they've re released that not too long ago, maybe in the last couple of years here, like a better version. I've seen the original way back when, and I have the DVD. And then they released another one that was like a straight to video called The Queen Bee, which is also really good. So, without like, that's my little brief history on the figure or the character. Chances are, if you're here looking at this review, you already know who Golgo 13 is, and you don't need me to go through and tell you more about him. He's just a really awesome literary character. I don't want to say cartoon character or comic book character. He's a literary character. He's been around as long as he has, and he has staying power, and they continue to still put out books today. In fact, I think he is one of the longest running manga type titles that's been around. And he's inspired a lot of things. One of my favorite video games is Hitman, and if you don't see the correlation between Hitman and this character, you'd have to be blind, because he borrows heavily from him. But I digress. We'll just go on into the figure. As I do the review, this is a true unboxing. I haven't cracked this open yet or anything like that, but I will do some high definition photos at the end where you can see the box, the figure, and everything like I always do. So meanwhile, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, he comes in a larger than normal box that you see in for most 1/6 scale figures. At first I thought this was a slide, but it's not. It's a magnetic type cover over the box. You have a nice picture there of Golgo 13, or Duke Togo, that's his name, walking, carrying his briefcase. Very slick looking, very nice tailored looking suit. On the back you have a picture of him with his M16, his custom M16, and his trench coat on. Very nice, little dust from packing, I guess. And right here it's telling you it's from 3R and Fewture. Lead, that's one of the publishers of the manga series. Another picture of him holding his M16 without the trench coat. Nice green dress shirt, bright red tie. That's what always made me think Hitman had borrowed heavily from him, because of the black suit and the red tie. And of course then we're back looking at the cover. But this whole front piece completely comes off. And what's nice about it is it gives you a cityscape of, I believe, Tokyo in the background, where you could have a nice backdrop for your figure. Like if you were putting them in a display box or a shadow box, you would have this really cool backdrop for them. We'll just go ahead and put that back here, and we will go ahead and take a look at Duke here. Now hopefully the glare is not too bad, but he comes in the way the box is. It's got the clear shell right there, and you can see there's Duke all dressed out. His briefcase is down below, and the M16 is in pieces apart. Part of a stand, his trench coat, and I believe there's a stand behind there, and then there's these 3 watches. Now I'm going to include, when I talk about the watches, I'll include the actual photographs of the real watches. But this came out in correlation with Seiko had put out 3 different types of watches, all based on the character of Duke Togo, or Golgo 13, and every single one of these watches is based on an actual watch in reality. So give me a second. What we're going to do is we'll go ahead and crack him open, and we'll take him out of the tray, and we'll take a look at the figure. Okay, we've got Duke out of the box, and we have opened the clam, and it's just a 2-part piece of like a clamshell. There's no twist ties or anything that I can see. And we'll start going over the pieces that are included with this figure. First, there's like this little mini poster, which is really nice. It's a picture of the figure, and it's in front of that backdrop that I just said, and again with his logo and 3R and Fewture. And on the back, there's directions on how to heat up the head with a blow dryer to remove it off the post, and how to heat it up again to put it on. And again, the care for the removal of the hands. If you're familiar with like Hot Toys figures, or TTL, or Toy City, Interbay, any of these, then you pretty much already have a good basic knowledge of how to take off hands and what have you. And I think I'll save the actual figure for last, and we'll just go through all the other pieces. It looks like here we've got a nameplate. We do. And it's on metal. And it's the Golgo 13 logo. Very nice. We have a crotch stand, and that's metal, and it's threaded at the bottom. Okay, and got the case. And his M16, and it looks like I have a loose hinge. I do. And that looks like that can be glued back and fixed. And it's got the foam inner lining. That's nice. And the M16 that is wild. I'll end up having to put that together. I won't do that on camera. What I'll do is I'll put that together and come back. But that is awesome looking. And this is one of the things that I had saw earlier, that the case actually closes with spring-loaded hinges, which is very cool. And it does have that rubbery kind of coating to it. Yeah. But I have a loose hinge, if you can see that in the back. But that will be easy enough to fix. I can glue that. Okay. Let's see here. His bottom of his base, and it has that silky sheen, almost that rubberized coating to it. And I take it that's where. Yeah. Well, there we go. Just snaps into place. Makes for a really nice display stand. Okay, and then we have his trench. Has a very suede-like feel to it. Oh, and these buttons are actually, well, they're real buttons, not no fake little snaps or anything like that, but actual buttons to undo, to open it up. See if I can get that loose. See if I can get my big meat hook hands to open that up. I might actually have to get my tweezers to do that. Yeah, I'll get my tweezers to get that open before I put that on it. Feels very nice, very well tailored. Nice split in there. Actual pockets. Nice line. And we have hands. We have the bendy hands, and it looks like a trigger hand and a holding hand. And I guess the ones he comes with are open palms. We'll go ahead and look at the watches real quick before we take him actually out. And that is amazing, or crazy amount of detail on there. I don't know if I can get it to autofocus. I'm going to use that to give it some background to it. But he comes with 3 different watches, and like I said, they're all based on actual real world watches that Seiko has produced. Crazy amount of detail on those too. Okay. And last but not least, and what everybody wants to see, is Duke. Let's go ahead and move the camera up. That is an awesome head sculpt. The suit is really well tailored. Damn, his shoes are awesome looking. I mean, the detail, there's the stitching that's molded into them, and they have real laces. They're plastic or vinyl. The shoes are the material that they're made out of, but wow, crazy amount of detail on them. Again, we're looking at it like a real button. It comes with like the open palm hands. They appear to be well painted. I mean, even the nail beds are painted on him. Very nice looking figure. Okay, give me a second and I'll put together his rifle, and we'll put together Duke, and I'll give you a finished review on him. Okay, I've put some stuff together and fixed my little hinge that was on my briefcase, and I just want to go over a few more things. And the more I keep working on this figure and messing with it, I am absolutely in love with this figure. This, so far, out of this year, 2013, this has been my favorite 1/6 scale purchase. I'm going to take different pieces first. Let's just look at this case with the cutout and the foam. This actually can all be removed. It's a lot easier to take the foam insert out to remove the gun, but just the look of this case, it's amazing. It is metal. The little drop of super glue is all I needed to do to fix that hinge. It just popped during shipping, I guess. But really, really well made. It's stamped steel. Hinges are great. The little clasp on these things is awesome, and you can see they work like a regular hinge would on a briefcase. Love that. I've got the buttons off the coat. Well, not off the coat, but unbuttoned, because they're actually really buttons. The lining on this thing is spectacular. It's like real stitching, like you would see in a real like London fog type coat. I'm not worried about buttoning it up again, because you never really see him in that style, and when I do that, I want to have it open where I can see the suit anyway. But just the feel of it, it has like a really soft cashmere kind of feel to it, or like a micro suede. Beautifully done. I mean, everything from the stitching to the belt, the stitching on the actual jacket, the interior lining, the little buckles on the ends of the sleeves. I mean, it's amazingly well detailed. Again, I've already gone over the watches. The extra sets of hands are nice. In fact, I've got his gripping hand and like the holding hand. And more than likely, I'm probably not even going to use these hands. I've got some black gloved hands that I will probably put on him when I have him fully decked out in his overcoat, simply to have that look like he has in the manga, where he's he's not leaving fingerprints. And I even have a pair of sunglasses for him. The only thing I'm surprised on the figure, now that I've got the suit jacket open and I've looked at the shirt and everything on the underneath, and you can even see like the little fine buttons on the shirt. It's very well detailed. The tie is absolutely gorgeous. I have made quite a few 1/6 scale Hitman figures, and you would be surprised how hard it is to find a really nice red tie. And of course, the head sculpt, again, I can't say enough about it. It's gorgeous. But I'm surprised all this detail that they did, that they didn't include a belt. Not a big deal for me, because being a 1/6 scale customizer, all I had to do was go down to my parts bin, and I've got tons of little black leather belts, dress belts, everything like that. So I'm going to slap one of those on him, and I'm actually going to give him, like the Hot Toys figure had, I'm going to give him like a knife to put on his belt, and it's going to be up underneath his suit jacket like he would have. And then we come to his signature weapon, his custom M16, and this thing is stellar. Now, there's extra pins and screws in here. The pins, I take it, are for like the quick release if you're wanting to put it back in. The screw would be for more of like a permanent situation. I actually have one of the pins in. And what the pin is basically holds the buttstock to the barrel. And if you look, all this stuff comes apart. See what I mean? You actually, to put it back in the case, it breaks down like a sniper rifle would. And if you're familiar with the anime or the manga, you know that familiar cut on his buttstock, the way it comes back like that. And that's signature Golgo 13. Nice clip. You can see the detail of the bullets in there. It's got the ejector for like spent casings. That opens and closes. Actually has like a plastic clear on the on both ends of his sight. Just give it that more realism. There's even like, I mean, look at the fine detail. There's even like a little tiny bit of silver paint between the exit on the barrel, like at the very end of the muzzle, to the actual length of the barrel. It's amazing. And if you look, you can see this is not just one molded piece. You can see the whole length of the barrel down through the guard, and just really, I mean, a ton of detail to the clasp where you could have a sling. That's even like what it would really be. It's got what would be the little metal clasp. This is plastic, of course, but I mean, even that detail's there. And I don't know if you can pick up the fine writing that's even imprinted on the side of the gun, but all the switches, the safeties, everything is there, and it's all massively accurate. And I just think 3R Fewture has really outdone themselves on this. I mean, I'm not usually like a gun nut. I'm not a gun nut at all, but I mean, just the detail that they did to make this accurate to the anime and everything. It's not just like, I'm not bashing Hot Toys. The Hot Toys figure is amazing in its own right, but theirs was just basically a plain M316 that was or M16, sorry, with just a scope on it. This, they went the extra mile to make sure that everything was accurate to the character. So very, very pleased with that. And we've already done the watches and everything like that. My overall feeling on this figure is if you're a fan and you didn't get the Hot Toys figure, this is a must buy. You can still find him for like under $160. Don't buy him off of eBay for $225 or anything like that. There's local vendors here in the U.S. that you can find him for, and he's a lot cheaper. Search around, find yourself some coupon codes, and you might even be able to find free shipping. So with that said, I will go ahead and finish decking out my figure. I'm going to go ahead and put a belt on him, give him that knife. I'm going to get his overcoat on him, and we'll take some final pictures of the way my Golgo 13 is going to look. This wouldn't be a bad figure at the price point that it is right now to get yourself an extra one and put him in a black shirt, maybe a different color tie, and have one in the overcoat, one loose in the suit. And I think that's actually what I'm going to do. Have one that's all decked out looking like he's taking that kill shot, and have another one decked out where he's all dressed up and he just looks badass. But thank you for your time, and be sure to watch at the end of this video for the high def photos. Thank you.